What's going on, people? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Oh, let's just get to it, really. So, it happened on Saturday. Today is Monday. I did say I wanted to do it yesterday, but I just got caught with the football. I can't lie to you. Come on, you Gunners. But, yeah. So, this really is an overall thoughts on my view on the whole card itself, the Ring 4. I was only really interested in the world title fights. I wasn't really interested in the undercards, really. I was really interested in the four world title fights that they built up so well. So yeah, so let's just start off from the top. Really, I'm gonna start off from the top, and then obviously we'll start off with whatever. Um, yeah, let's just start off with let's start with Anthony Yard versus David Benavidez. Sorry, David Benavidez versus Anthony Yard. So it was pretty much, as I mentioned on my short video, a dominant performance from Benavidez and a statement performance in the light heavyweight division for him. He needed that because obviously his last two performances, obviously the David Morale was his best performance as a 175, and Alexander Vostik was a I don't want to say a reality check, but I feel like lots to learn now and how to deal with people sort of his size, because obviously he's been a super middleweight for quite a long time. And yeah, I feel like that Vostik performance really was a big beneficial to him, because obviously he put a good performance against Morale, who was gained as well, and just a dominant win against Anthony Yard, who I will talk about in a moment. But yeah, it was just from since round one, two, three. I think was it 4 or 5, where I think when Yard hold on to one of his arms, he had one arm free. I think it was his left hand, and he just let out. I think I counted slowly. People are saying 12, but I played slow motion just to see. I feel like it was more than 12. I thought I've counted up to like 18, 19, even in slow motion as well. Maybe I need to count it again just to make sure I don't miscount, really, you know what I mean? But yeah, it was a good performance. And then obviously around round 3 or 4, I don't know why the commentators in the zone didn't mention it, but I noticed Yard's right eye, started to swell up, and that was not a good sign for him. He obviously, the game plan I will talk about as well was very strange as well, in my honest opinion. But with Benavidez, with the hand speed, I just don't think Yard couldn't cope with it when the round goes on. And obviously when Benavidez started to bust him up as well, Yard just couldn't cope with it. Obviously he went out in the shield, of course, and obviously that left hook in the end obviously really buzzed them a lot. And the referee made the right call into jumping in, because it could have been much worse. And yeah, I think the referee made the right call. And obviously now Benavidez confirmed himself that he'll be moving up to cruiserweight to fight Zurdo Ramirez. I am happy that for that fight. I don't mind that fight, May 2nd. Obviously a chance for him to become a freeweight world champion. But there is a part of me that is disappointed that we won't see Artur Beterbiev or Dimitri Bivol going against Benavidez, because I feel like that would have been a great fight. But yeah, it is what it is. Who knows? There were rumors as well coming up that apparently he's struggling to make light heavyweight as well. So to be fair, he is a big boy. To be fair, and obviously, if you remember in his old days, the clips, apparently he weighed over 200 pounds, and for him to make super middleweight is mad. You know what I mean? Mad. But hey, kudos to him. He's got the win, a good win as well. Well, and good luck in his fight against Zurdo Ramirez. And hopefully, if he does, the difference does beat Zurdo Ramirez, who knows? Benavidez versus Jai Opetaia, sign me up. Sign me up. So, for Anthony Yard, this is his third world title fight as well. And whilst both Kovalev and Beterbiev he showed he was good. I thought he took a lot of experience from that. This one, as much as he had some moments, I think round 6, he did call Benavidez. I think it did buzz Benavidez a bit, but it didn't affect him that much. Because I think around round 6, when he was starting to get busted up. Look, I don't know Tunde personally. I only know him based on what I see on TV, and he looks like he is clearly a character guy. And he's clearly not one of those trainers, you know what I mean? And I know he gets a lot of stick a lot for the way he has managed Yard's career. I mean, look, he's done some good things with Yard. Obviously, the sponsor deal with Adidas, that's good. Obviously, yes, financially, I think they've done a good job. But in terms of what their real ambition was to become a world champion, and he has not achieved that. I feel like that would be the biggest what if in Anthony Yarde's career now going forward. There's a part of me that I feel like we will see him again, but you see, because there are some words I want to set this to use, because I don't want to say it in the wrong way that will get that people may look at me like I'm a Yard hater. I'm not a Yard hater. I love Yard. Arsenal fan himself. And then obviously his interview, he looked in good spirit. Obviously there's a part of him that's still devastated, because obviously that's not the way he wanted to lose. Or clearly he wanted to become a world champion, and there was just so much there to improve on. And I feel like people are gonna be pointing more towards Tunde a lot, Tunde Ajayi, because obviously the way, not just as a manager but as a trainer as well, because obviously that fight where you clearly see he was getting beaten up, and people would have said, pull him out. It's gonna end badly if you don't pull him out. And obviously you hear Tunde saying you're a warrior. And look, obviously you got that warrior mindset. You want to be put on your shield. I get that. Don't get me wrong. But obviously you're health, and we've seen bad things happen in boxing. So Tunde is gonna be looked at a lot. From as I stand, listen, it's Yar's decision of what he wants to do. But if I'm in your shoes, if I'm like on the shoulder of Yard, I would say, if you want to continue and you feel like you can get another shot, which I don't think you will, world title again, you're gonna need to change trainers. And I don't want to use that, because I do like Tunde, and I know people don't like, some people may not like him a lot. But in terms of like wanting to improve technically wise, I feel like that's gonna be the biggest talking point. Have you improved Yard technically? For me, no, you haven't. And I know they added James Cook into the team. God rest his soul, rest in peace. And he did added something, but I don't know. But the part of me was wanting me to say, how much say does he have? What sort of role did he play? You know what I mean? Um, and when you do look at Yard's career as well, his record, after fighting big names like, for instance, Kovalev, you go down a little bit. You go from there to here. If you can see my hand like there, from there to there. In terms of opponents, and opponents, let's be honest, trash. Especially after the Kovalev one, you fought someone I believe that had 5 wins, 48 losses at the time in Spain. Come on, man, you're better than that. And then obviously you started fighting journeymans, and then you fought Lyndon Arthur, you lost in 2020, and then there were period people were even saying, I think it's time to change trainers, because I feel like there is a talent there, but he chose to stick with Tunde. And obviously, yes, they went through a period. I know during that period he had personal issues as well. In the first fight, Lyndon Arthur, that's why he lost. I don't want to make that as an excuse, of course. I don't want to take nothing away from Lyndon on that performance. And then they did the rematch, not straight away, but I think a couple of fights before. And then obviously he got his redemption win. He got his revenge. And after getting that Lyndon Arthur rematch win the second time, he got and then a couple of fights later, he got the Batavia fight, which he showed a good fight. It was a great fight. I enjoyed it. I would still watch it again. And then obviously he came out the loss against a Batavia who was still good, still to this day. I know we haven't seen him for a while, but I hope we see him sooner than later. I believe he was supposed to be on the card, the Ring 4, if I'm not mistaken. And then obviously, of course, he went back down a level, fighting journeymans, and then obviously the barcode, the situation between Frank Warren and Tunde, and just everyone in the total. Because I know when Yard was apparently a free agent, Frank was like, "You're not a free agent, mate." Right? And then obviously it was between Frank Warren and the Yard's manager, i.e. Tunde. And obviously he hasn't fought since 2024. In 2024, I think, did he fight in 2024? I think he did, yeah. But against a guy, I forgot his name, but he went this distance, and yeah. And then obviously he fought Lyndon Arthur again. He didn't look good. And then he got the Benavidez fight, and he got destroyed. It needs to be said, he got destroyed. So yeah, Yard's career has been more like higher, world title fight, down a level. World title fight, down a level. World title fight, down a level. and he didn't even get throughout this time in the come up as well. When the likes of Jose Alberton, Frank Buglioni, who else was there? Buatsi. When I mean Buatsi, the fight can still be made, but during that time we would have known a British fight would have been nice to see at the time, but they went a different route. And in terms of overall, has the big question is, has Yard technically been improved? No, because he's still making that mistake of like being on a back foot and trying to engage whilst on the back foot, which was the Benavidez fight. He did that with the Beterbiev fight as well. Uh, but in terms of like, but overall, technically, I don't. He has not improved at all. And I know people may not agree with me on that, but there are things there Yard could improve on technically if he did change trainers, and that's not a knock on Tunde because I know people may not like this, but Tunde, I do respect what Tunde does do and the dedication, what he's done, and the sacrifices. I get it. I know people don't want to hear that. It is at the end of the day, it's about Yard's career. It's not about Tunde. It's about Yard, about what's best for him. And unfortunately, together, it's this whole lines in the camp and. At the end of the day, I think the chance to become a world champion is gone. I think it's gone, and if the world title does come again, then that'll be a blessing, and I mean a blessing for Yard. So I don't know what's really next for Yard. I know shout out Del Boy Blue Collar Sports TV. He said it's time for him to call it a day. For me, I feel like we will see Yard again, and I think we will see the Boazzi fight, but it's definitely lost its hype. I think it will still be a good fight, don't get me wrong, but I think it's clearly lost the hype that it should have gotten, and I feel like it could have been so much more back then. And I feel like now that, like I said, it'll be a good fight, but will it be a fight that you say, I cannot bloody wait? Yeah, yeah, it'll be like a do or die fight for both of them, really. And obviously, I said Benavidez is moving up to cruiserweight to fight Zurdo Ramirez. And Yard, it's going to be a long journey back if he does come again. And if he does change trainers, I mean, whilst we would all be happy about that part, but I feel like for us, it's too little too late. And for me, saying this as well about Tunde, again, I don't want to sound like I don't like Tunde, because he is a character that I don't mind. Yes, he can be in. There are some parts that fans can say he is a bit annoying, but I feel like people will be pointing more towards him about why Yard has not achieved what he could have achieved in boxing, and now there's gonna be a big what if in Yard's career now. Now, next fight, Abdullah Mason versus Sam Noakes. Abdullah Mason is the new WBO lightweight champion of the world, being a stubborn Sam Noakes. I enjoyed this fight a lot. I really love this fight. Obviously, Sam Noakes, who's 28, so he's in his peak years now, and Abdullah Mason, who's not even reached his peak, he's only 21 and has got a long road ahead of him. It was Abdullah Mason's speed, athleticism, and boxing ability versus Sam Noakes, who can box as well, but more of a brawling type boxer, you know what I mean. And obviously, I feel like when Sam Noakes, I forgot what round it was. I think it was round 4 when he got a bad call. I think it did affect him, but he had that stubbornness of you're gonna have to hurt me really good to stop me, to put me on the ground. Because Abdullah Mason, I feel like when they said this is gonna be his first fight, how well will he cope? Sorry, going past 6 rounds, and I think he ticked the box with me, and I feel like there is something about Abdullah Mason I really like: hand speed, power, boxing ability, footwork. You know what I mean? I feel like he could be a good play in the lightweight division. Sam Noakes as well. He'll definitely come again. I would love him to fight for another world title. Who knows? We could see a rematch in that one, because obviously both of them gave a good show. They didn't disappoint, and Abdullah Mason won. The scorecard was, I believe, 117, 111, 115, 113 on both cards. So, I think some people will have a 117, 111, the correct one, but some people say it was close. I may have to watch the fight again because I wasn't scoring it properly because I just enjoyed the fight, but I know Abdullah Mason deserved that win. So yeah, I feel like the rematch would be a possibility, so I would not mind that. But I think the most likely as well for Abdullah Mason, he could potentially face his mandatories, which could be Joe Godino versus Gabriel Flores Jr., which I believe is happening next month. So any fight, anything between that, sign me up because I know it'll be a good fight, and I'm looking forward to it. Jesse Bam Rodriguez. I know I said on my short video, but I'm gonna say it again. He's a special fighter. What a fighter, man! And I think it was a super flyweight division. If I get it wrong, I'm so sorry. But he's such a special fighter, man. I mean, 25 years old, and I know I can't remember what tweet I saw it, but he some say he could retire right now, and I wouldn't argue with that. But I feel like there's lots to give with that man, and honestly, at 25 years old, there's lots to give, and this fight proved he's just levels above that Martinez good dude, who was always going to be game. He's always going to go out fighting. And obviously, I just didn't give him a round. Jesse Bam Rodriguez just dominated with the angles, the speed, the footwork, the punch selections. And to top it off as well, that round 10, the way he just slipped through that right hand and on Martinez and then come back with a pull up, I forgot, a counter pullback left hand just to end the fight there. I want him to become undisputed first because I know people are talking about him versus Naoya Inoue, which I don't want to see just yet. I don't want to think about it just yet. I just want him to become undisputed because I think he's too skillful to be thinking about. No, sorry. I think like his ability to become undisputed is right there at super flyweight, and I hope he does achieve that. And he is by far, no debate, top 5 pound for pound for me. He's up there with clear with the Crawfords, the Usyks, the Inoues, and Bivol, and he's number 5 for me. What a performance, and many reasons why I love Jesse Bam Rodriguez. What a fighter. And the final fight of the Ring 4 was the co-main event with Devin Haney Brian Norman Jr. versus Devin Haney. Devin Haney goes away with a unanimous decision win over Brian Norman Jr. And Devin Haney, I mean, we all know he's a fantastic boxer, terrific boxer. Ring IQ obviously is there, and obviously the jab the 1-2. Round 2 when he knocked down Brian Norman Jr. I can't lie, I was literally saying go for it, go for the kill, man. I feel like I'll say it first. I want to say about I'll say it before. Sorry, excuse me, forgive me for that, for the stuttering. But then obviously he stepped back a bit because I understand you gotta be careful because obviously Brian Norman can bang as well. And in the second half of the fight, Brian Norman did came back, but I think it was too late. I think the first half of the fight, Devin Haney just pretty much dominated the whole fight in the first half, and I feel like second half, yes, I think Brian Norman did well to come back from that awful knockdown, which he was definitely hurt, and yeah, I can't remember the scorecard, but I think one of them had 114, 113, which the judge had it close, and if it wasn't for the knockdown, it could have been a draw. But of course, Devin Haney is now a freeweight world champion. Now, what I was about to say is this: Devin Haney hasn't stopped or knocked anybody out since 2019, which I think his last fight was in 2019 was against Abdullayev, and before that was Antonio Moran, where he stopped him in round 5, round 6, and he hasn't stopped anyone since. And the boxing is there; it's clear to see it's there. His skills is clearly without doubt the best. I just want him to. I really want him to like at least try and stop somebody when it's there. When it's there, I want him to try and go for the kill. You know what I mean? Go for the kill. But then sometimes he step backs, and then if he tries to find a shot like that again, I think he may try and go for it again. But yeah, now Devin Haney is at welterweight as a 3-year world champion, WBO welterweight champion now. He's in the division for a while. Obviously, you look at that division and the world champions, barring Devin Haney, it is weak. It is weak, and I'm not I try to be a dickhead about it. But obviously, Rolly Romero is the WBA world champion. To think of it, Rolly Romero is a two-way world champion. Let that sink in. Lewis Crocker is an IBF world champion. WBC is Mario Barrios, but he's going to be fighting Ryan Garcia. I don't know why the fuck he's getting a world title shot after his loss, but that doesn't make sense, but that's boxing to you. And obviously Conor Benn, who was pretty much talking a lot of shit about not Conor Benn, sorry, about Devin Haney, same with Eddie Hearn, about it's a snooze fest, like it was a snooze fest fight, and he wants to make it impactful. Listen, look, I get it, he's on a high, don't get me wrong, but there are times that I want to say to Conor, not to his face, of course, because he doesn't know me, of course, stay in your lane. Listen, you beat a rehydrated, pretty much past his best Chris Eubank Jr., and now you're coming down a weight where that you want to be a part of. Well, I think he can do well. But if that fight does get made with Devin Haney and Conor Benn, there's no question Devin Haney will outbox him. Potentially, if Devin Haney finds the opening, he can go for the knockout or the stoppage. But so that's why Conor Benn, if this is a big if as well, he has to make it a slugfest. He has to make it a street fight. But yeah, we'll see what happens in the 147 division, and we'll see what happens with Devin Haney going forward. Now, I hope we do see him a lot in 2026 this year. And obviously, the one fight that we all want to see was him against Ryan Garcia. And that's a big if, Ryan Garcia pulls through against Mario Barrios. And finally, Ryan Garcia is the world champion. If these are all big ifs. Apologies for that, by the way. Yeah, apologies for that. That was just a thing on like a glass or connection that fall off, so apologies for that part. So yeah. But overall, I thought the whole card for me was a success. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this fight. I enjoyed the card. I felt like this was much better, way better than the one we had in Madison Square Garden, the ring, Madison Square Garden, with the TO, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia. We don't know, that put me to sleep. And then the Canelo William Scott, sorry for mentioning that. But it's up there with the February 22nd card, that took place in Saudi, of course. Would I go back and watch it again? Yeah, I'll watch it again, 100%, because it was worth my time, and everyone did well. Everyone, the crowd went home happy, and we go from there. So yeah, so that's my video. That's my full video. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. If you want to see more of my videos, hit that subscribe button. And yeah, so that's my video, and having a good day. Peace out.